Alright guys, in this video we're going to be talking about how to start selling on Whatnot. Now for instance, if you're selling Pokemon cards or something of the trading card genre, it's going to be very simple, but the first thing is first, make sure you do have a kind of like studio, and you don't have to have a studio. When I say studio, I mean somewhere you can do these streams on a table. It could be a dinner table. It could be a little workbench. It could be a small little, unfoldable table you got from the store. Something small, but make sure you have a work area, so to speak, for when you're doing streams. Make sure you have a phone stand. Make sure you have pens and pencils as well. Also, make sure you have something to write on. Sticky notes work great. You can also use a notepad that I'll show you guys. I have one here in a minute. But make sure you have all these essentials when you're doing it. Now, it doesn't have to be, of course, Pokemon cards. That's just something easy, and we'll get to that later in a minute. I've done other videos of that. If you guys want to see them, go check them out on my channel. More in-depth on how to list those cards and stuff like that. But something else to add, make sure you have like a extra device to where you can check like prices on stuff. You can check mainly I use my iPad for music. So like I'll I play personally non-copyrighted music. Some people like to play just any old music. I've seen people do that on Whatnot, but I like to use non-copyrighted music, and I play that in the background for my viewers. It's just something to add. For instance, here too, let's talk about Pokemon cards for a minute, and anything for that matter. So for the cards I sell, I already have them numbered, right? So if I'm doing an auction, I usually have a list of 100 over here. So this is 1 to 100. And this is here. Obviously, if I keep selling, I can just take that card, put it in the plastic sleeve, and I know number 1 is the sale for 1. That's how you can start numbering and really get an organization to what you're selling. You could do that with Funko Pops, like these Funko Pops over here as well. You could just buy these little stickers that I've gotten, and these stickers will be down in the description below. Or if not, you don't want these particular ones, you can buy any numbered stickers from Walmart, from Dollar General, Dollar Tree. You could buy it from Amazon is where I order mine. And also order yourself notepad. A notepad's just good to write some stuff down for notes. Or if you did mislabeling something, you could write down, oh, this viewer bought this, and just put the item name, something you can remember, right? The easiest thing, of course, is going to be these stickers where you can just number them. And this works if your items are all kind of the same thing, right? So let's say this is a Pokeball is a Funko Pop, and this is your second sale, you would put the number 2 obviously on that. And that's only if you have a list of items that are kind of in the same category. That's what makes things a little bit easier. So like if you're selling clothes, right? You could do this easily with clothes, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is the 5th piece of clothing I've sold. 6. And so forth. It makes it a lot easier. Do make sure you have like a little bin. Like for here, I put my, you could put your sold items there if you wanted to. I have some bubble wrap too. You can't go wrong with having shipping supplies as well. We'll get to that into the end of the video. Make sure you have a good light source too. Make sure like you have one of these. You can get one of these offline. I'll have them linked in the description below too if you guys want to get it. Very inexpensive, like 10-15 bucks, but they have a good light source that way your viewers can kind of see when you're recording, or not recording, streaming, and on that. That being said, also make sure you have a decent phone and shipping supplies, of course. You can't go wrong with that too. I have that to my side, as we just talked about. Make sure you have a good phone and camera too. You do want a good video. The next thing we're talking about is weight. So like here's this is a weigher for like ounces. So like so if I ship Pokemon cards off, right, they're only 0 to 1 ounce. You can do shipping profiles, and this profile for these are 0 to 1 ounce. That's why I can use standard envelope, because even with a standard envelope and the weight of a card in a top loader, it is actually only 0.96 ounces, and we'll show you that. I'll show you that in just a second. I'll get the envelope out. But that's where these come in useful. These also come in useful. These do not bin stickers. I do like to put those on all of mine for my viewers and my customers, because you never know when mail carriers might accidentally, and that little note might save the day on someone bending a card or something like that, and then you've got a bad product, or you've got someone messaging you saying there's a damaged product or something like that. As you can see here with the standard envelope that I have, and these envelopes are also down in the description below if you guys want to check those out too. It is only 0.96 ounces, so for your shipping profile on cards, you could always put 0 to 1 ounce. Now, that's going to change if you're using something like Funko Pops. It's probably going to be more like the probably 4 to 7 ounces. I would say for Funko Pops, maybe a little bit higher. So if you're selling stuff like that, and always have your supplies near you. So like I have a bunch of cards, binders, and stuff like right here, and I have the cards to my right, of course, that I'm selling in this example for using Pokemon cards. But for anything, whatever you're selling, make sure again you have a good kind of studio base in a sense, or good little home base where you're doing all that. Good recording device, good lighting, a pen and paper. Always have a pen and paper. Can't go wrong with bubble wrap. And I do like to have an iPad on hand. That way I can play some music in the background. Because, having that music kind of gets people, and then it just kind of something entertaining, right? It's entertaining to listen to and watch. And just having the background. That way it's just not pure silence of you trying to sell stuff and stuff like that. Also be very talkative. I've been told I talk too much, but I think that works out when selling, right? Obviously you're going to want to kind of talk and entertain your audience, and then of course keep talking and talking up whatever product you're selling for that matter. Like I said, guys, also make sure you have a charger on hand, as I'm showing you here. Charger is essential when you are sometimes streaming. I have streamed sometimes for 4 hours on whatnot, and a charger was top tier essential. So the next portion of the video, guys, when we talk about how to ship and set up a show and all that on whatnot. So if you guys want to see those full-length videos, do check out my channel. Like I said, remember to like and subscribe as always. Okay, so for this particular thing, we're scheduling a show. I'm doing Pokemon cards. Again, you could do Funko Pops, you could do clothes, you could do jewelry. Jewelry is a big one. A lot of stuff like the handbags, whatever you're selling. Shoes. I know a lot of people are into shoes. But this particular one, you just name your show. You use a profile picture. I like to use something, of course, with the category. We're selling singles in this particular example. You can add some hashtags. Those are not really that important. You'll click schedule your show. This is when it's important. After you schedule your show, you can go over here to the shop, and you're going to click auctions. That's the easiest. You can do buy it now if you want, stuff like that, and create quality listings. But the easiest I figured out is when you're selling a large quantity, is just put temporary listings. Okay, so we're going to name Pokemon cards, put title, and then of course you can choose the starting bid, which I usually use as $1. Especially for these type of cards. Time limit only 5 to 10 seconds, and quantity here we're going to put 100. That way, each time one sells, it goes 1 to 100. And then, of course, there's the shipping profile from 0 to 1 ounce, as we kind of just shown you in the other portion of that video. So, again, name it, you got your title, you got all that, your starting bid, and then, of course, you can just click Start Auction over and over and over again, and it'll number it for you 1 to 100. All right, so that's how you kind of start the show on that. Get started and all that. Here's the little more of the extra for those of you who stick around for shipping. Again, you can see these full-length videos I have. That is a Jaden's label printer if you guys want that. Again, all of this stuff is down in the description below if you want to check out those links. I buy all my supplies from Amazon. Pretty inexpensive, and it works out great. This is me shipping some cards out. So obviously this person bought, let's say they bought one card. They might buy multiple. I always like to put a little thank you note in there. That's just kind of my thing. You can add something else, or if you guys want to do nothing at all, just send the card. I like to put them wrap them in a piece of plastic, and then I slide them in an envelope. This does not add any more weight for it. It is still in between that 0 and 1 ounce. And if it is slightly over the 1 ounce, most of the mail carriers don't usually say anything to me, and it's usually fine. They don't upcharge any shipping or anything like that. I've not had any issues with that. And then, of course, there's a standard envelope for that, and then you would just put your shipping label on that once it's printed off your printer, whatever you're using. And if you're using a bubble mailer, I use a bubble mailer for more of my bigger sales. So if someone buys 8 cards from me, obviously I'm going to stick the 8 cards in all those sleeves in top loaders, and then I'm going to wrap them in a slight little bit of a bubble wrap, and then put them also in a bubble mailer. This is how you would print it off on the Jaden's label printer. If you guys want to see a full-length video on that, again, check out the videos that I have on my channel. This is me printing off that label, of course, you just seen. Obviously, you'll have to print off your labels, and these save so much time and effort and so much on ink, because the thermal label printer doesn't require ink. It just requires the labels. So this is hands down one of the best purchases I've ever made. And obviously, I've kind of shown you here more in depth on those videos. You guys want to check them out. But that, guys, is how you start selling on Whatnot. That's kind of the full breakdown of it. I know you guys really enjoyed that first video I did. I got a lot of comments and likes, and I do appreciate it, guys. So remember to like and subscribe as always. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.